Have you ever ridden or driven in a vehicle that gives you the shakes when you get out? The shakes result from huge amounts of adrenaline caused by fear or excitement, but either way, it was awesome. With that in mind, we compiled a list of the top 10 adrenaline-pumping brutal vehicles you must see. We are starting to get SEMA vehicle specs and are getting excited about the show. While it isn't for months, we decided to put together this list of brutal vehicles to get your adrenaline pumping. These 10 vehicles pack high horsepower engines, crazy capable suspension, tons of intense modifications, and designs that won't leave you forgetting. Let's get right to it. First up, the Shelby Cobra SUV. Starting off the list with a crazy retro-futuristic Shelby Cobra SUV that looks straight out of the movies. Although an AI-created concept based on the original Shelby Cobra, this SUV shows us what a futuristic hot rod can look like. Hopefully, someone will grab a Factory 5 kit car and fabricate this amazing-looking SUV. Next up, the Mercedes Maybach Off-Roader. Shifting gears a little bit brings us to the Mercedes Maybach Off-Roader concept. Since Mercedes revived the brand at the beginning of the century, Maybachs have been based on the luxurious S-Class and share a lot of components with their lesser sibling. This Maybach, however, is entirely unique, with an upright, boxy design that is more imposing than any S-Class. Rows of LED lights, bull bars, a roof rack, and massive off-road tires distinguish this sedan body from anything else on or off the road. This all-electric concept is the last project of the late Off-White CEO Virgil Abloh, and his influence is seen throughout the vehicle. On the inside is a beautifully retro-futuristic interior with a Maybach-branded axe to get you out of trouble. Surrounding the car's exterior is an exoskeleton frame that doubles as a roof rack. The car's rear is just as upright as the front, sporting two distinctive Mercedes Maybach logos in the circular taillights. Would you take this over Mercedes' other off-roader? Shaking the ground and scarring children everywhere is our next brutal vehicle, the '65 Mustang Fastback named Vicious. Timeless Customs spent over 10,000 hours making this 1965 Mustang. Actually, the only thing Vicious shares with a Mustang is the A-pillar. Everything else is new, including its fire-breathing 5.2-liter Ford Performance V8. The 1,003 horsepower is sent to the rear wheels via a 6-speed sequential automatic. Everywhere you look, this Mustang has pulled out all the stops. It draws attention from loyalists and unassuming people alike. Moving back into the sphere of SUV influence comes the Gronos Coupe Evo G-Wagen from Masonry. Starting with a modern G-Wagen, Masonry stripped the body down to the chassis, moved the 4 standard doors, and moved the B-pillar back to accommodate the new rear hinged doors. All the door mechanisms had to be repositioned to create the suicide doors, giving this G-Wagen a unique look. It's sure to stand out from the rest. Under the hood, you'll find Mercedes' 4-liter V8, but it's been tuned to produce 900 horsepower and 855 pound-feet of torque that can scoot this rig to 60 in just 3.3 seconds. What happens when you take the most powerful pickup truck on the market, add an axle, extend the bed, and add an additional 300 horsepower? You get the next vehicle on the list, the Hennessey Mammoth 6x6. Many new modifications, including Fab 4 front and rear bumpers, an LED light bar in front, 20-inch wheels, and 37-inch off-road tires, make this truck stand above the rest. The legendary 6.2-liter TRX V8 gets a larger supercharger to bring the output to 1,000 horsepower and 969 pound-feet of torque. Next up is arguably the most badass vehicle on the list. Pause now and comment below what it might be. The Desert Storm Trophy Truck. This trophy truck combines the looks of the Batmobile, Ford Raptor, and Dune Buggy to produce a Baja-ready machine. With matte black bodywork, flared fenders, exposed carbon fiber, insane ground clearance, and chunky all-terrain tires, this 4x4 concept is a true weapon for any scenario. For now, it's still a concept, but this thing looks like it's ready to take on trails, water, rocks, and anything else that comes its way. Next up is a vehicle at home in any terrain, Major Payne. Startup racing originally started with an M5 half-track personal carrier tank made during World War II. They kept the tracks, suspension, and rear drive axle before adding 12,000 pounds of weight to the build. A custom-built reverser box allows the tank to make agile turns and safely pivot on its back idler, giving the illusion of wheelies without damaging the driver. A big block Chevy engine with JE pistons, AFR cylinder heads, and a Y-end 871 blower allows Major Payne to produce 1,100 horsepower. It would be hard not to include a bulletproof one when discussing brutal vehicles. Ready for a zombie apocalypse is the Terradyne Armored Light Armored Patrol Vehicle, or LAPV. The LAPV is a seriously intense vehicle typically operated by police forces internationally, though these are available for civilian purchase. What starts as a Ford F550 Super Duty chassis, the LAPV retains the 6.7-liter turbo V8, and the 6-speed automatic pumps out a healthy 330 horsepower and 750 pound-feet of torque. The light armor package includes advanced ballistic and blast protection, exceptional off-road capability, and ample passenger space. Gun ports, roof-mounted weapon stations, and remote-controlled weapons allow operators to deal with hostile adversaries effectively. Turning heads and causing accidents is the Ringbrother 72 AMC Javelin AMX. This Javelin AMX turns back the clock and turns up the fun to 11. If AMC had built these like this back in the day, there certainly would have been more than 3,200 of these produced. But this AMX draws much attention for its Camaro-esque design language and sharp body lines. The Ringbrothers replaced the old 6.6-liter with a 6.2-liter Hellcat V8. They upgraded to a 4.5-liter Whipple supercharger to produce 1,036 horsepower in low boost mode. What's high boost mode? Glad you asked. It is 1,500 horsepower. All that power travels through a GM 4-speed automatic to the gigantic rear wheels. It turns this retro legend into a modern burnout machine. Next up is a legend that no one knows. The 1979 Camaro is referred to as Ghost. During the brutal Bosnian War in the 90s, a Danish soldier named Helge Meyer was determined to create a vehicle that could carry supplies to people in need while staying under the radar. Helge approached a US military commander in Germany with his plan. When approved, he bought a '79 Camaro from a US serviceman in the area. The car was stripped down, fitted with thick steel plates for protection, and a thermal imaging camera system to help navigate the dark nights. The Camaro was equipped with run-flat tires for obvious reasons, as well as a mine-sweeping front spoiler. The car was fitted with nitrous oxide to escape tricky situations. Amid all the chaos, Helge and his Camaro completed over 100 supply runs throughout the war zone, earning the car's nickname Bosnian Express. While the war in Bosnia is over, Helge still holds on to his Ghost Camaro. Fitted for civilian duty again and sporting an orange paint job, this Camaro is truly a hero's car. 4 rotors, 4-wheel drive, one crazy man. Any idea what the next car is? Rob Dahm's 6th Generation RX7. Rounding out this list is a super special, incredibly engineered piece of machinery. Rob Dahm started working on this project in 2016. He finished it just last year. Believe us, the engineering that went into this car is genuinely mind-boggling. This 4-rotor all-wheel drive Mazda RX-7 is a wild machine that commands attention in any room. Although it looks like a Mazda from the outside, Dahm's creation is an assortment of parts from other vehicles and custom-built pieces. The all-wheel drive system comes from a Nissan Skyline GTR, and the GTR's transfer case is joined by a BMW E36 rear diff that's actually set at the front of this RX-7. The heart of this beast is a billet 4-rotor with a massive 106mm Garrett turbo slapped on top. This engine makes a monstrous 1,240 horsepower and scoots off the line with authority thanks to the GTR's all-wheel drive setup. And although this build took about 6 years to finish, this level of engineering deserves all the credit it can take.